very blunt personal criticism of an incumbent if a lot of people are worried about that incumbent's health.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a challenge. The Biden campaign has pulled down many of its negative campaign ads that had been running or are running. The Trump campaign insists that the Biden campaign hasn't pulled all of them down, but I think that there is a tonal shift that is happening. And Joe Biden yesterday had an event on the schedule. He continued with that event after receiving a negative COVID test himself. He went to Michigan. He delivered a speech. He started out by saying that he was praying for President Trump and his family, but then he did eventually turn to criticize the president and criticize his handling of the coronavirus. The Trump campaign is taking great umbrage at that, saying that why should they stop running negative ads against Joe Biden if Joe Biden's going to go around giving negative speeches? I mean, it is a remarkable irony of this moment that Joe Biden, who is the extremely cautious one who was mocked for staying in his basement, now gets much more unfettered access to the airwaves by giving big campaign speeches with no audience than the president, who is pretty restricted right now. He released a very short video yesterday, basically saying thank you for your well wishes and I hope this is all going to be okay. But the president doesn't have the platform that he would normally have. And certainly the Biden campaign has to be extremely careful not to say something inappropriate or in some way it is a challenge to walk that line when the person you are running against is battling a deadly disease that has afflicted more than 7 million Americans and has killed more than 200,000.
And that raises a question that I'd like to address to you, if I could, Joe Palca. Our practical experience so far with coronavirus has been this is a very open-ended affliction, isn't it? Somebody can also spend months in a hospital.
Yes, I mean the range of possible outcomes is pretty broad. How long, how bad, how much, how incapacitated. I mean, the president may be well enough to go home at some point. Again,
Joe.
Yeah.
Of all the times to interrupt you, but it looks like there are people coming out of the Walter Reed Medical Center. I think I see. Well, I shouldn't try and identify someone on the small iPad screen.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming.
This is Dr. Conley.
Dr. Sean Conley, physician to the President. This morning I'd like to start by first sharing that the President and First Family, First Lady, extremely grateful.
You're listening to Alaska Public Media.
Many of the students' demands have been brought up before.
50 years, and essentially the same issues are being raised.
So Black students have made their own community inside the university.
I'm currently at the Black Mizzou Homecoming Tailgate.
Black Mizzou is a special thing.
I've never felt that type of connection before.
Black at Mizzou, confronting race on campus, from 8 p.m. reports.
Saturday at 3 o'clock on Alaska Public Media, FM 91.1. Support for Alaska Public Media comes from members like you and from Providence Imaging Center, serving Alaskans since 1986. Open Monday through Friday. Appointments welcome. Learn more at provimaging.com. Spinell Homes, building homes for Alaskan families for more than 30 years, from the ground up or ready to move into. More at spinellhomes.com.
Lieutenant Commander John Shea, clinical pharmacist, and not present with us are Lieutenant Beth Carter, Lieutenant Maureen Meehan, both Navy nurses, and Dr. Jesse Schoenau, Director of our Executive Medicine Program. As reported yesterday, in consultation with this group, I recommended we bring the President up to Walter Reed as a precautionary measure to provide state-of-the-art monitoring and any care that he may need. Just 72 hours into the diagnosis now, the first week of COVID, and in particular days 7 to 10, are the most critical in determining the likely course of this illness. At this time, the team and I are extremely happy with the progress the President has made. Thursday, he had a mild cough and some nasal congestion and fatigue, all of which are now resolving and improving. At this time, I'd like to bring up Dr. Dooley to discuss some of the specifics of the President's care.
Thank you, and good afternoon. I'm Dr. Sean Dooley, as Dr. Conley mentioned. I'll start off by mentioning what an incredible, how incredibly proud I am of our medical team assembled behind me, and the honor it's been to care for the president over these last 24 hours here at Walter Reed. He's receiving outstanding multidisciplinary care. The state of the science